last year had an opportunity to be a part of a very special event. It was really an honor. It was the Black Enterprise Tech Connects Summit. It was a great event. A lot of influential people from Silicon Valley was there. Students were there who are, their forte is tech. And it was just a great way so people can network, meet and greet, and get some great advice from ones that were out there. It was truly an amazing event. It was a really honor for me to be a part of that event and to take place. And a good friend of mine, Samara, Lynn, was the reason why I was a part of it. I won't be part of the event this year. Didn't make the cut. I guess they didn't like me. No, I'm just joking. But I still want you to go out there and be a part of this event. This event is truly transformational. And they are doing something very, very special for you tech entrepreneurs out there. And you don't want to miss this conversation that I have with Samara. And also get a chance to talk to her about some of the great content that blackenterprise.com has and why you should make that a regular visit. I said a regular visit when you're surfing. Without any further delay, let's get it started. And I'm so happy to have with me right now. See, she's giving us a nice little profile because she's so beautiful. I'm talking about my great friend from Black Enterprise, digital manager, tech editor, you name it, she does it all. And she has a little beautiful dog named Ninja. Talking about Samara, Lynn. What's going on, Samara? How are you?
Hey, all good. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic now that I'm talking to you because you always seem not only brighten my day, but brighten the day of ones out there who are listening and watching the Tech Zone. And Samara has been writing some great pieces out there. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, she wrote a piece about, I think it's JP Chase, right? JP Morgan, how they're donating some money after the aftermath of Charlottesville. And I think it's incredible writing, Samara.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Yeah, I mean, they really stepped up to the plate. The CEO came out and pretty much denounced Trump and then said, we're not only just going to have words, we're going to throw some money at the situation. And they're giving like millions of dollars to like the Southern Poverty Law Center and all these other racial justice organizations. So, yeah, and it was incredible.
You know what, Samara, when it comes to the time which we live in today, when it comes to social media, do you feel that the digital age has made more CEOs and organizations more aware of what's going on out there? Because let's face it, 20, 30 years ago, all we saw was what was on the TV screen, and that was it.
Well, I think social media has made all of us much more aware of things a lot quicker because we get information in an instant. But I think as far as CEOs and businesses go, I think it's made them more afraid because it's so easy for people to, petition or lobby against a company now and express their anger and boycott that they're, the CEOs and they really stick their finger up to the wind now and say, okay, well, people are on the side of, justice and, they want tolerance. So that's what we're going to do because, they want customers.
That is so true. That is so true. And we appreciate all the great writing. And if you want to find out more information about the writing that Samara does and also Black Enterprise, we'll tell you about that later on. But I wanted to have her on because what they're doing coming up in a few months, or there's a promotion going on right now that you definitely want to be a part of. If you're an entrepreneur out there, if you have an entrepreneurial mind, and if you have just went through many barriers out there to get where you are, they have a contest, and I brought Samara on to talk about it. So Samara, instead of me stumbling around and trying to guess what it's about, why don't you let us know what this contest is about, all right?
Oh, sure, Paul, and thank you for the opportunity. So this is a contest we're launching in partnership with a company called Hiscox, which is provides small business insurance. And, we were sort of like brainstorming, and, the number one problem with entrepreneurs, particularly entrepreneurs of color, people of color trying to, launch these startups is funding. So what we're doing is we are launching a contest called Impossible. And essentially we're sourcing videos. Anyone can submit a video and 60 seconds. We're looking for current entrepreneurs to tell us how they overcame that one really roadblock sort of challenge and how they managed to overcome that and how they managed to launch their entrepreneurial endeavor. How did you get out of your own way to start your business? And with 60-second clips, we have all the information there on how to submit the video. You can submit it on social media with the hashtag Hiscox, Courage to Pitch. And Hiscox, of course, is HISCOX. And the best videos, most compelling story, they're going to get a all expense paid trip to San Francisco to come to the Black Enterprise Technology Summit, Tech Connects. And they're also going to get a chance to pitch their business to a Silicon Valley venture capitalist. So we're really excited, and it's a great opportunity.
Wow, I'm like blown away in this. How did you guys come up with this type of contest? Because I've never heard of anything like this, but I think it's well needed. Was it because of maybe something that the community was out there saying, we need some help? Can someone help us to spread our word and so that we can be out there?
Oh yeah, one of the things we cover almost, I think, weekly, if not pretty much every other day, is how hard it is for startups, those minority startups, women startups, to get in front of a venture capitalist. How hard it is for them to network, how hard it is for them to get even a voice or a foot into these Silicon Valley VCs doors. So we figured, well, we're going to be holding this amazing Tech Connects Summit in October in San Francisco. And we're going to have some of the biggest names in the venture capitalist industry, like Frida and Mitch Kapoor, Monique Woodward. They're all going to be at our Tech Summit. And why don't we bring someone who's struggling, have them come to the summit, and have them meet, this one of these VCs out in Silicon Valley.
And Samara, what kind of advice would you give to ones out there that if they win and they're out there talking to these VCs, what kind of advice would you give them to make sure they have their ducks in a row? Because this is kind of like a once in a lifetime. I remember having a conversation with Aisha Bowe, who was the CEO of STEMboard, and I remember talking to her, and she was talking about her interaction with the VC and everything. And because of that, we see where STEMboard is at today. So what type of advice would you give ones out there, if they, as they're submitting their content?
Yeah, and Aisha is great. She's fantastic. And I agree. The biggest thing is you be prepared. And there's no lack of resources on what you need to be prepared and what you need to do before you approach or go in front of a VC. We have it on Black Enterprise. Just write how to pitch a VC, Black Enterprise. You can Google that. And there are plenty of other outlets that give great advice. You want to make sure you have a product, you have a business plan, you have some idea about how you're going to make money. There are just some basics that the VC is going to ask you that you have to know. It's like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it pays to do the research.
That is so true. And in both of our journeys being journalists out there, one thing I like to do when I'm covering somebody or talking to somebody is ask them about their journey. When you talk about the obstacles, like when it comes to this event right here, you want to talk about the obstacles that they overcome. And there are some incredible stories out there of ones who try to create this product or create this startup, and then their families, some of them were a bunch of haters, some of them told them not to do it, but to see them overcome it and to see where they're at today, it's amazing. And I think we're starting to see a resurgence of the entrepreneurial spirit that was in this country back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, where ones were entrepreneurs. And why do you think we're starting to see that push now?
I just think it's really big with the younger generation, with the millennials, because they've kind of pushed back against, the typical, you go to college, you work at this place for like 30, 40, 50 years, and then you retire. And not only that, it's not just them. That's not just them pushing back, which they have, but the workplace has changed. We're increasingly becoming an automated society. So the traditional methods of employment are going to completely turn topsy-turvy in like the next 20, 25 years. And that's what all this political upheaval, to me, underlying it is about. And people have to find new ways to make money. And that, a lot of that times for many people, that means being self-employed, and maybe having other gigs on the side. That, and also technology, the coding, has gotten a lot, more accessible for the masses. A lot of APIs are out there. So even if you're not a, genius, brilliant level coder, you can use an API already created, do some research, and you can build your own products and services. So I really think it's a combination of, the new generation, what they want, automation, disrupting the workplace. And I think more portable coding, coding that's more widely available. It's all contributing to this new age of entrepreneurship. And I think which at its heart is technology.
That is so true. So true. And when we talk about coding has changed a lot. I remember when I went to a computer operations course that the Urban League offered. Wow. Way back. I'm not going to say how long ago it was. Well, I guess I can. I really don't look my age, or maybe I do, but it was back.
We don't. Paul,
yes, we don't. Yes, we don't. Yes, it was back in the 90s. And I remember coding with COBOL and Fortran and the computer operations, and things have changed so much today.
Oh, I took a couple of those courses when I was first in college many moons ago, and you had to assemble the code and compile it all in these separate steps, and now it's much more streamlined. I don't want to make like it's coding is a piece of cake, but it is much more of a streamlined and I think more approachable thing to learn than it was like 10, 15, 20 years ago.
And in covering tech and also talking to ones with an entrepreneurial spirit in mind, what is like the number one challenge besides money that kind of stalls them from achieving their dream, in your opinion?
Well, and I'm going to mostly speak to the tech startups, because that's mostly what I cover. I would say a lack of awareness about the culture, the Silicon Valley culture. It's a lot easier to get funding if you kind of grew up in the Bay Area, or if you have a lot of connections in the Bay Area, or if your father played golf with somebody who is a venture capitalist, or you're a VC's kid went to school with your kid, or you're going to school with a VC's kid, you go to the same college. And I just think a lot of people of color, they're not in that area, first of all, and they're on the perimeter of that Silicon Valley culture. And I think even if someone has a great idea and they come and walk into that culture, they don't know too much about how Silicon Valley works, who the major players are, I think they're at a disadvantage. So I would say just as much as funding is, no exposure to the culture, which is why, of course, our tech summit, we're bringing 60 students from HBCUs for a hackathon. But not only that, they're getting to network with the major companies in Silicon Valley, as well as our attendees with our career expo we're having. We're trying to bridge that gap and give people of color that access into Silicon Valley.
Absolutely, because I remember the event last year. I know a lot of the ones who were up there who were talking about their experience was saying, "Hey, reach out to me, get to know me. Let's connect." Hence the Tech Connects, summit.
Right.
Ones can connect and everything. And why is that so valuable today? Because let's face it, and I have nothing against millennials. I love them to death. I have some nieces and nephews that are millennials, but it seems like this generation sometimes feel the entitlement, and they just feel they're the next best thing without even putting in the work. Now there's some out there who realize you got to hustle, and you got to put your you put the rubber got to hit the road for you to to really achieve certain things. But do you see that sometimes with the millennials?
I do, and luckily the ones I work with are hard workers, nose to the ground. They're not like that, but I have definitely seen that. And I even just interviewing some millennial entrepreneurs who feel as they're a lot longer ahead in their business venture than they really are. And I think that exposure to maybe more seasoned entrepreneurs, older entrepreneurs, the corporate exposure kind of is a cold water in the face sometimes. That you don't know anything at this point. You're just starting out. No, you can't be on the cover of the magazine just yet. But, yeah, I definitely have seen it. And I love millennials too.
Yeah. And you hit it right on the head. Sometimes I go back and lecture at the facility where I learned radio and TV broadcasting. I go lecture some of the new students. And it's interesting when I see them out in the audience, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be the next Big Boy. I'm going to be the next Tom Joyner. I'm going to be the next Ryan Seacrest. And I'm sitting there like, when you get out of here, you're probably going to be just a board op or working on a street team. You know, you got to work your way up. But once you get there, you know, you're able to see that you climb some ladders up there, and you definitely made some strides. And that's why I love the event that you guys put on, you know, in Silicon Valley, because it exposes a couple of generations. You know, many of us are across different age ranges. And I think it's good for all of us. Even we can learn a lot from the millennials too, you know, because they have a lot of energy, and I admire that hustle. So let's get that information out again about this event that's happening, and let's get as much of submissions as possible. Let's talk about that again.
Yeah, so this is the Impossible Contest, and this is open to any entrepreneur. Just submit a video. How you overcame your impossible, how you got out of your own way to launch your business. And you get a free all-expense-paid trip to our Tech Connect Summit in San Francisco, October 9th and 10th. It's going to be an amazing event, beautiful dinner reception, networking, cocktail, showcases, tech, speakers, an incredible event, which, of course, if you don't want to go in the contest, everybody can just register for. And it's probably the most sophisticated, most comprehensive Black-oriented tech event out there, and at the most reasonable price. I mean, we see some other tech events oriented to African Americans and the Black culture, and you get a lot less for a lot more money that they want. So, yeah. Listen, I just got to be blunt, Paul. You know,
you're absolutely correct. Yeah. I mean, we can take the analogy. You can go to some restaurants, some barbecue joints, they hook you up. Some just give you a little bit and they charge you a lot. So exactly. Yeah, that's how it is. And Samara, before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to articulate to the audience out there about Black Enterprise, about some of the things that you guys cover out there, and just some more information that they can deduce?
Yeah, just, please, follow us, check out our articles at blackenterprise.com. People are like, the magazine. Well, a lot of the magazine, we're doing even more and delivering even more on the website. And that's actually our biggest audience now. And it's where we have the latest, most cutting edge information. We still want you to subscribe to our magazine for exclusive content, but, it's a great supplement to the magazine. And hope to see everybody at our tech summit. You can go to blackenterprise.com/TCX, Tomcat X-Ray, for all the information about Tech Connect.
Awesome. And if you want to follow Samara, you can follow her here on the Twitter, right? On the Twitter, right?
Yep.
And give everybody your Twitter address for ones who may be listening on the radio.
It's really creative. It's Samara Lynn.
I don't know if I'll be able to remember that, Samara, because let me write that down. Samara Lynn, and please never call her Samara, because she's not from the country. She's from Manhattan, doing the right thing out there in New York. So Samara, as always, my dear, it's always great to connect with you, and looking forward to talking to you more as the event continues to unfold, and talk about some of the great things going on at Black Enterprise.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul.
Again, I'd like to thank the beautiful Samara Lynn, digital editor, manager. Again, I'd like to thank the great Samara Lynn. She's an amazing journalist, amazing writer, digital manager over there at Black Enterprise. Support her, support them. Great organization out there, great content, great tech writers out there, entrepreneurs out there. Don't forget about that Impossible contest sponsored by Hiscox. And remember to submit this. Everything is online. And if you're watching this or listening to this on the radio, connect with me, PaulAmadeusLane.com, or go to the YouTube channel, Paul Amadeus Lane, and you'll be able to check it out. All right. Well, let's make like a tree and get out of here in the words of Biff Tannen. And don't forget, any content that you've missed on the show, you can catch up on iHeartRadio, you can catch up on iTunes, you can catch up on YouTube, anywhere. I think we finally got it all taken care of. No more excuses out there. Take care of yourself. We'll be right back here. More Tech Zone.